All right, Jim, whenever you're ready.
Okay, let me call this meeting of June 7th, 2021 of the Yountville Arts Commission. Let me call that to order. And we will start with the roll call.
Thank you. Excuse me, Commissioner Wordsworth?
Here.
Commissioner Cant? Commissioner Resnick?
Here.
Commissioner Scher?
Here.
Vice Chair Cook?
Here.
And Chair McDonald.
Here.
And we'll let the record reflect that Commissioner Caption is excused this evening.
So next in order is the Pledge of Allegiance. So after me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented for this meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I wasn't sure whether that was a hair wave or a hand up.
It was both.
Roll call.
All right. Commissioner Wordsworth?
Yes.
Commissioner Cant?
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Scher?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cook?
Yes.
And Chair McDonald.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we do have the minutes from our May meeting and May 5th meeting. And so do we have, number one, are there any comments or corrections, or did anybody see anything they want to comment on in the minutes? Or if not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Marty. Roll call.
Go again. Commissioner Wordsworth?
Yes.
Commissioner Cant?
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Scher?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cook?
Yes.
And Chair McDonald.
Yes.
Okay.
I always ask the question, and it's usually always negative, but number 6 is public comment on matters not listed on the agenda. Do we have any public comment?
We do have a public comment this evening, which is exciting. I'll go
Wow.
ahead and read to the record for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for considering beautifying the utility boxes, PG&E, AT&T, and others. Most public art in Yountville falls on the Washington corridor. A reason I like this idea so much is that there are many utility boxes throughout neighborhoods, which will be part of brightening our neighborhoods. And I'm a little biased. I have stared at 2 of these gray boxes from my home on Yount Street for the past 17 years. During the pandemic, someone even posted a giant honey bear on one, which brought a smile to all our faces. The Arts Commission members discussed many great ideas at the previous meetings, and I look forward to the continued discussion. And that's from Jeff Durham on Yount Street.
Okay. Nice to have Jeff weigh in. Okay, and I'm not sure where we stand on that yet. There was going to be something going on, discussion about that, kind of off the table, or not off the table, but between several people and Steve. So we'll see how that plays out. So our next item is the Art Fund report. And that would be Samantha.
Let me open up.
Let me just,
All right, so I included just the snapshot pages that I received from finance, and I didn't include all the detail. I think I told you guys at the last meeting I was going to stop including all those pages of detail, but it's always open to sending it to you directly if that's something that you would like to review. So currently, the general fund Yountville Arts Program budget, the 015405, we are seeing obviously a lot of revenue activity there. That would be from, and this is the report ending, what month are we in? Ending May. So we would see the majority of our revenue there from artist fees, and then quite a bit of the sales from the art tip and stroll packages as our actual revenue there. And we still, please note into that revenue, we still have the $7,500 that we get from the Yountville TID that will come in there. So we are really on track to meet that, those actuals, and the majority of that, the expense and the revenue is our event on Saturday, which, as Noelle and Robin and Rhonda know, I've been like on that budget because of all the things we've had to add, but I think we're going to be able to pull it all off. So, and then expenses there have grown significantly. Obviously, we've paid for the tenting contracts and some other things, so that'll grow just a little bit more as we close that out. Under the that same account, we also show, but we break it out, our art sales. So we have in May sold 2 additional sculptures, and so we this was shocking to me, but we have sold over $100,000 in art in this fiscal year. So from July 1 of 2020 till now, we have sold over $100,000 in art, which I think is just
Wow.
Amazing. So I get goosebumps, actually, like literally. So that's really cool. And obviously we have we've paid out commissions and expenses. Some of that did not come out yet in May. So, but I look forward to my year-end report to you guys to be able to show what those commissions that we've made from all of that art sale is. So that should all be squared up unless we sell something late in the fiscal year, but it should be pretty great. So it's been a really good year. And I hope it continues on Saturday for all of our artists. I really hope we see some record sales. The Public Art Program Fee Fund, so that's our restricted art walk fund. We have been bringing in a lot of art, and we haven't had a whole lot of our expenses for installation until this last one. We'll probably have a little jump in that. But we definitely have a good fund balance there of just under $64,000 at this point in that fund. And so that's looking really good heading into the next year. There's not a whole lot of projects, at least in the permitting process right now. We know that there may be some coming for renovations, but there's not a whole lot out there right now of interest. And then lastly is the Yountville Arts Fund in the Town of Yountville Community Foundation. And there's been, the only real activity there has just been from the transfers. And so we're just sitting at just over $34,000 in that account right now, with a placeholder for the mural update project that will come later on this summer. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have one, and it's not really a question. Maybe it's something we should do. And that's, seems like about a year ago, we might have done a press release about several art walk sales. Given everything that's happened over the last, year, are we about to a point where we should be again doing something for the Sun or whatever, talking about all the sales that have come off the art walk? And maybe I'm throwing that out to Rhonda and Kim, because you're a little closer to it. I think the council certainly in their year, I talk about it in our annual arts update to the council, but the council certainly loves to hear about the fact that we're selling things out the door and pulling in commissions that help us function. And so I'll just throw that out. It's maybe not a budget question, but
No, I mean,
thousand,
way,
what?
I would love to see a splashing headline that says, Yountville Arts sells $100,000 or something, in a way that shows how we're supporting these artists as well as the stuff that we're doing. So
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a big play there marketing wise in terms of Yountville Arts and our artists and funding, trying to fund ourselves and just how much the arts is growing. So I think we should talk about maybe in the marketing committee and with the Art Walk
Okay.
committee, a big play, including the Yountville Sun, but the Yountvillean, and then even Napa Register, and just see what we can do. It's a magnificent story, and it should be splashy, like when we had the sold banners all over the Art Walk pieces. I think it's just wonderful. I know we're all very excited.
Maybe marketing needs to work on that.
Definitely.
And with all of the specific titles and sculptors' names for the pieces that have sold, it would be great. And it's maybe too much to get into gallery sales, but certainly the very visible sculptures in town that have sold should be enumerated, I would think.
But gallery sales have been doing very well also, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, we did not sell anything, right, Sam, from our last.
Oh. Sold one.
Oh, okay.
One piece sold, one of Nancy's pieces.
Okay, I didn't know that. So okay, that's
but
great.
Quinn did a real nice job.
Right.
And we'll see what we've got coming up. I just think it's just all reason to just push for the gallery and the Art Walk and the commission overall. So we'll get working on that, and we'll also commiserate with Kim and Rhonda and Sam, and just see what we can do.
Okay, perfect.
That sounds good. And it should, I mean, two things come to mind from my end is that when I talked to people in 2009, as we were creating this and trying to figure out how to do an Art Walk, everybody said, don't count on selling anything. That never happens. So this is so far above and beyond expectations that we actually sell anything off the Art Walk without even bringing to the fact that we sold $100,000 in the last fiscal year. And we also need to do a huge shout out to Rhonda for making all these sales and patiently dealing with clients and following up phone calls and taking phone calls on the weekend. How much is that orange sculpture, and trying to figure out which one they're talking about. And she does an amazing amount of work behind the scenes and holds people's hands and makes them all very happy and makes all the artists very happy and makes us a tidy sum so we can continue to do this. So
Rhonda is a closer.
We need to take her out to dinner.
She does it with style and grace, even gift wrapping the art. So
I know, above and beyond.
Above and beyond.
Thank you. A quote from you about 2009 and reaching out to other communities about art walks and having them actually say, don't count on selling. That would be perfect in the article. It shows
absolutely
the difference.
And of course I said, oh, well, we'll try anyway.
Well, I'll throw it back to Kim as well. It has something to do with the quality of the art that we have on the Art Walk, that people want to buy it. And maybe people weren't so compelled in the early days with the earlier pieces to purchase, or maybe it wasn't something that was done when people came into town back then. But now it seems like visitors are looking at and are interested in buying. So that's maybe
And this may be a record year, just given the situation, but whatever, it's still newsworthy.
Well, and it's more than bragging rights news. It also can be used on an offensive end to get more art collectors to come here. Wow, they're doing something. They apparently have good art. We need to go see that Art Walk.
Right.
I hadn't thought of it that way. It's good to get new artists to come, but buyers. They can come shop our Art Walk.
Right.
And as just attraction to the destination.
Weren't we talking about an art destination a couple of years ago at a retreat?
Yes.
Mhm.
The chamber used a saying on something the other day that I saw. And Yountville has perfected the art of the stroll. Like, I like that. I like that.
That has been the marketing campaign for quite some time now. Passeggiata from the Italian Passeggiata, the art of the stroll, and that was the entire. That was the Miriam Carson campaign, which is extremely effective. And they do visit California and visit Napa Valley, and we're very fortunate to have them as our marketing company for the town of Yountville. So it's just lovely because. It is about the art of the stroll here. It's not just food and wine. It is the art of the stroll.
And it's not just Art Sip and Stroll, an event once a year, but it's any weekend you want to come and
That's right.
stroll. Right.
Could we rename our Art Sip and Stroll?
Rename
the art of the stroll?
Interesting.
Takes out
cut the
the
wine
zip
out
part.
all.
Well, when people can carry their cups around town, then that would be a good time to rename it, maybe.
We'll have to see if that's trademarked somewhere.
That could be.
Could be. Could be.
That's
So
also nice.
are we still taking up time from
Yes.
the Art Fund report, or I guess we've kind of moved on partly into. So do you want to take over the Art Walk subcommittee, whatever you want to talk to us about, Kim?
Sure. Sure. We can do that. I do have to say regarding our public comment, I like the idea of doing the utility boxes throughout the town.
I do.
I know that's a bigger project, but hey, why not? You know, we can't do the sculptures throughout the town, but why not do the art boxes? I think that's a great idea. Okay.
Cindy was looking at ideas for making them like transparent and making different art, but Mr. Durham's, suggestions that it's just something to look at within the neighborhood makes it more accessible to have art that's happy, floral, vines or whatever. It means we don't have to go that far out to make them unique. They just have to be beautiful, and they're going to bring joy to neighborhoods.
And we were worried about overburdening Washington Street graphically, but we could do a locals event, get people to submit ideas and do those on utility boxes throughout the town. Not on Washington Street if we wanted to keep that simpler, but use that on all the other ones.
Yeah.
Interesting idea. I like that. Dale Rieger submitted 2 sculptures for us, and they were approved. And one of them is broken, so he won't be able to bring it. So Samantha, can you bring up those pictures? Or we can share my screen, it doesn't matter. Whichever you want to do.
Yeah, I can share my screen, just one sec.
Okay.
Can everybody see that?
So this is the one that Dale presented to us that we were going to use on the corner of Yount and Washington to replace Peace. And this is the one that has broken. So he can't bring that. So go to the next one. This one is tall and skinny and blue and has a headdress on the top of glass wavy pieces up there. That piece is going where Rigadoon was, down by the bridge. And so to replace the red one, he has submitted the next piece, this one. It's a little red, it's a little blue, and it comes with or without a headdress. So if you guys are okay with putting that one at the corner where Peace was, he will bring that and it'll be installed on Friday.
Oh, okay.
And if you are okay with it, do you like it better with or without the headdress?
Without.
Okay.
I like it better with, it's just a little bit more,
Me too.
Yeah, I do
more
too.
sculptural looking. I'm not.
And more colorful. It's just,
Yeah.
it just gives it an extra dimension.
The headdress is I think it's a wrapped metal, Kim. It's not glass.
Oh, okay. I have not seen it. Okay. I just assumed he was a glass artist, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks kind of
That's terrific.
but I like and I like the fact that it's got the red and the top because you've got well, they're not maybe that tall, but you've got the bushes kind of around it. And if it were blue, it might not pop as much. But with the red, I think that looks great.
Yeah, I really liked the all red one, but obviously that won't work. So I don't care for the headdress, but that's 2 against the headdress and 3 for the headdress. So I will tell him that we approve that piece with the headdress.
Okay.
Do we need a vote?
Yes, please, just because that's a different school.
Okay, roll
I will
call.
make a motion to accept Dale's presentation of a new piece with the headdress to be installed at the corner of Washington and Yount.
Is there a second?
Yes.
That's enthusiastic. Okay, now can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Wordsworth,
Yes.
Commissioner Cant,
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scher,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cook,
Yes.
and Chair McDonald.
Yes.
Okay, super. I will tell Dale so he can finish loading his truck.
Before we leave that one, that
Early.
corner,
Yes.
could we take the fence down now once Dale's piece goes in?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. We
Great.
will.
Great.
Okay. At our last meeting, we had a discussion about the sculptures Raven and Polly, the 2 ones that are in Vandeleur Park. And we kind of went back and forth. Did we want to buy them? Did we want to extend a stipend, 1 stipend, 2 stipends, 1 year, 2 years? Could we apply it to the purchase? And Rhonda has spoken with the artist, and he has offered a good price. The prices he has on them now combined are $48,000. If we would like to buy them, he will charge us $25,000 for the 2 of them. But giving him a stipend or applying it to a future purchase is not an option. He wants
He would apply it. He originally said he would apply it, but you're right, it's not an option because if I don't want to interrupt you, Kim.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
First, I wanted to mention that Bruce is, really, he's a great guy. He's very easy to work with. He's a very smart artist. And very respectfully, he appreciates how much we like the pieces, that we would consider buying them and so forth. But he doesn't really know anything about our fundraising capabilities. And he has a fear that if he leaves them on the art walk for another 2 years and we haven't been able to come up with the money, then he will have lost 2 years where he might have been able to sell them. And he feels that it's such a great offer that he's made to us that if we like them and if we want to keep them, he would be most flattered and most humbly appreciate being able to do that. But he would like us to make a decision now as to whether we want to buy them or he'll come out and pick them up. But I wanted to just make sure that you all felt he wasn't being a brat. He wasn't, I'm going to take my sculptures and go home, you guys, or whatever. We talked a couple of times about it, and I have to respect his opinion of his sculptures about what he feels he needs to do. So I think he would like us to purchase them. I think he'd be very honored if we did, but we would have to have a plan to do it now.
And you said 2 for 25,000?
Mhm.
28,
No, 25.
25.
25,
Yeah.
not 28. Oh,
So the difficult side of that is that every artist would like us to buy the sculpture they have here because it's kind of a pain to come get them, etc. And that's almost always an offer of some sort. Don't you want to buy it? And the other thing is every time we go before town council, they very adamantly want us to keep things rotating. So we kind of have to balance that with the offer. It's a good price offer, but are these two pieces we want to have forever and not change out?
So,
Kind of a
and
discussion.
that is, I mean, I think we have to, obviously, we have to really like them to keep them. And you all know that I personally really like them, and the location of them, to me, just suits Vandeleur Park. I think the sculpture in Vandeleur, it's a special little park, needs to be of the reflective, calm sort of subject. And to me, they fit that. And yes, artists always want to sell their sculptures. I'm not sure the point of that, other than, you know, I do know that they don't offer such a generous price. And he doesn't mind coming out. So I'd like to just remove that again from the conversation, because he was prepared to come out and get them before we got it. You know, we started extending the stipends and so forth before we even had that conversation. But, you know, when he made us that offer, that's when I brought it to you. So he has a plan to come out. He's willing to do that. But I, again, would like you to consider the purchase. As Steve pointed out at our last meeting, we have a lot of pads left that, and particularly along the main corridor, which is for the most part what people see. So I don't feel the loss of the two pads. I feel like we're giving the town some really beautiful sculptures that people will enjoy. As Cindy pointed out at the last meeting, you know, people have picnics, they look at the pieces, they like them. He hasn't been real flexible on the prices, which I think might have benefited him in selling them before now. There's also nothing to prevent us from selling them after we purchase if we decided to do that.
Okay, anybody, I'd like to hear other comments.
I think they look really great where they are, and I think that we should take him up on his very generous offer and buy them.
Okay.
I have a question regarding Rhonda's suggestion that they could possibly be sold after Yountville purchases them. Would there be some kind of stipulation that we'd have to adhere to? He had them at 48,000 each?
No.
Yeah.
Or
2 for 25.
for us. But what was the price?
No. The art walk on the map, I don't have it in front of me for some reason, but I think one of them was 18,000 and one of them was 28,000, something like that, Kim.
Yeah, I think one was 20 and one was 28, so that would be 48.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're pretty high.
Yeah.
the interesting thing, excuse me, the interesting thing to me is the question of, are we becoming an art gallery? In terms of to buy an art, to go before the town council and ask for money to buy a piece of art because we really love it in that park. I think it brings a continued cachet to the art walk, but then to turn around and sell it, I'm not sure exactly what
I wasn't,
It's not a, no, I know you weren't, Rhonda, but as it's maybe picking up some momentum, I just want to say it puts the art walk in a whole other, if we even consider that, in a whole other scenario of buying and selling art.
Which is what some museums are doing right now, selling from their collection.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah,
something worth discussing and thinking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you my point of view. I mean, I've been before the council a few times, and I know that at least a couple of council members in particular are not wild about the idea of us buying additional pieces for the art walk. They like the idea of the revolving gallery that for the most part the art walk is. And so, you know, I respect that. And while I think they look great in Vanderleer Park, I'm not sure that I like them to the extent that I want to purchase them as a commission or go through the fundraising for that endeavor. So that's my point of view.
Well, the fundraising is kind of off the table at this point. I think, Sam, in the financial report, if I read it right, we do have the money to purchase them and still maintain the $40,000 in the account that we've told ourselves we would do.
Yeah, if you purchase them from the Art Walk Fund, you would be pretty close to that. And then you also have the funds in the foundation, so you could choose to maybe do or both.
But it would still need to go before the council, right? As a
Yes.
purchase.
Yes, it would. I think that it's important though for the commission to discuss if, you know, the first option, which the first point that you would need to probably vote on and think of is are we going to purchase it or not? And then kind of the second piece is how would you suggest the funding how would we suggest paying for it from our funds? So I think that all needs to, it sounds like we kind of need to move fairly quickly on this for the artists. So I would want you to make both of those recommendations tonight so that we can move forward to the council as soon as possible. So.
Well, Sam, in terms of the funding,
so I'll just go, I can re-review that for you if you want as far as what funding you have available to you. So let me open that.
You're gonna put it up on the screen again?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So it's pretty clear. So, okay. So this is general fund. It wasn't budgeted, so it wouldn't be able to come from there. So this is your restricted fund that can only be used for certain things on the art walk. This would qualify. So your current fund balance is just under 64,000 end of May. That does not include 2 stipends. Right, we just placed 2 sculptures, so then that would.
And we have 2 more coming on Friday.
So that's $10,000. So
Yeah.
taking those into consideration, that would bring your fund balance down to about 53,800. So your administrative policy is to maintain $40,000 in that account. So that's why my suggestion was to maybe. If you do want to move forward with purchasing, to maybe use some of the Town of Yountville Community Foundation funds that you have, which, let me open that one. So the only thing you have pending out of this $34,362 is about the $4,500 for the mural update. So you have just under $30,000 in that account.
Okay. So we could do it right from those 2 funds, some from each.
Yeah, this definitely fits into what the 2 are approved to be able to. So you could.
And also coming in we will have the commissions from the 2 sculptures that we just sold, Balancing Act and Peace, right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
haven't ran the actual numbers, but and I probably should have leading into tonight, but I just didn't even think about it. You will have generally, just to remind you, at the end of the fiscal year, that money for those commissions moves into your Town of Yountville Community Foundation. This year is significant. If I just estimate 20% of $100,000, it should be at least $20,000 that we're moving over. So that would go into the Town of Yountville Community Foundation at the end of the fiscal year when the books are closed, which would obviously replenish more than what, would replenish a lot of what you would have in that account at that point.
And I think
we could explain in the staff report too, if that is the decision of the commission to move that forward, is that, you feel comfortable making that decision based on the year that you've had and all of the sales. So
it looks to me, Sam, just kind of a dirty number, that we should be getting around 5,000, 5,500 on this commission from the other 2 sales, Balancing Act and Peace. They were
I think
around.
the rest was included in that 105,000 that we were looking at, but the expense hadn't come out yet.
I don't know. So we don't have any, the money is already showing on the reports we're looking at. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it should be about $21,000, $22,000 in revenue from art sales this year for our commission.
I think our strength of taking it to the town council would be that we would need to be overwhelmingly unanimous on this. And to me, they are not that kind of addition to our art walk, but I don't know for sure. Marty said yes, Robin and Noelle. I don't have a feel for what you guys are thinking.
And we may not know until we have a roll call.
Yeah, well, somebody has to make a motion, so we might as well
Are we
get what
ready?
they say.
Do we have,
I think they're beautiful. I think they're stunning pieces. I think they're the kind of things, the kind of pieces that attract visitors. I would vote to go ahead and buy them.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I think we really need to be strong because I to go in front of the town council. But they are stunning pieces, and they do add tranquility to the park. They're beautiful. I have to say I agree with Rhonda about my feelings about them. And the nice news is that almost from our commissions of art sales this year, we can fund it. So it's compelling.
I have a question of Sam. I threw out the thing about fundraising, but that came from something that Steve said at the last meeting. So is there something that I'm missing that he thought that we would need to fundraise part of it, or no?
No, I think, Steve always, it's always an option. And so in the past, when we've tried to procure a sculpture, we kind of, would go out to the community, and if there was support behind it, then that would happen. So, but we haven't always done that. I mean, for example, we have, several sculptures that were just a purchase from the commission and commission recommendation and a council agreement. And there were some, one particular that we tried very hard to fundraise for, and the community did not get behind it, and the sculpture did not stay. So, sometimes it can help the community feel a sense of buy-in to the project, or but it's not something we've always done with every purchase. So
yeah, I mean, we didn't really there were comments and generally positive from the community about Sidewalk Judge, but we didn't really go out and poll for that. And in this case, I don't think there's probably time to poll In fact, if we don't purchase, when would they be picked up?
I think he said August, but I didn't obviously get a
Yeah.
fixed date, yeah.
So I don't know whether,
Well,
know.
I think you could look at it too, that the community has the opportunity to weigh in at any, of your meetings. This was specifically agendized tonight. It'll be specifically agendized for the council. And so, the community has had those opportunities to weigh in if they chose to. I could do more outreach as it goes to council if that's what you decide, so that you can be assured that the community knows it's happening, and if they want to weigh in, they can at that point. So those are just some options.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
If we have time to do it, Sam.
Yeah.
Well, it was August. I mean, there's still at least 2 months to do that. But that wouldn't be, wouldn't bear on this, what we're going to vote on tonight. So
I don't think
The-
that's really fair to the artist to leave it until August.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to do that, Jim. He can't just jump in his
We would
truck,
try to
drive
bring
out
it
from
forward. If you
Colorado.
vote tonight, I believe I can bring it forward to the second meeting in June. Oh, no, I can't. I missed that deadline. So it would need to be the first meeting in July. So we would know by the first week of July, I believe.
Okay.
I have to look.
The only other thing I would like to say before we vote is that I don't know that it's particularly fair to say we need a unanimous decision on this. Is that a protocol for voting?
No, I was just saying, I felt we have more strength going in
Oh,
to town council if we're all in agreement that this is a fantastic piece that we need to have for town, because then I would think it would have a little more, have had a little more community input on, like the sidewalk judge.
I voted against the sidewalk judge, so,
I did too.
so, yeah.
Robin?
Well, being a newbie, I'm listening to everything you say, that the council typically doesn't want to purchase art. They want things moving, but also taking into consideration that Rhonda said there's a lot of pads available for art to continue moving. And I like the idea that it does enhance the park through the message that we want that particular park to relay, is the tranquility and thoughtfulness. So I would lean towards saying, yes, let's purchase them, but I'm trying to be cautious too.
Okay. So does somebody want to make a motion?
I do. I'll make a motion that we purchase the 2 for $25.
We have a second.
I second it.
Roll call.
Commissioner Wordsworth,
Yes.
Commissioner Cant,
I can't resist a good sale.
See?
Commissioner Resnick,
24,999. I'll say yes, but if not, I'll say yes anyway.
Commissioner Scher,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cook,
No.
and Chair McDonald.
I'll say yes.
Okay, so that is an agreement, or you are approving purchasing or moving forward to recommend that the council look at purchasing Polly and Raven. So now probably our discussion should lean towards how would you propose funding that purchase?
And I've always thought of it as a sculpture garden, and maybe that's one way to pose it. And gardens are normally peaceful or tranquil, so that might be a way to go.
Sam, I kind of rely on your thoughts about where we fund it. We have the money. It's a matter of where it's most liquid for us to maintain the administrative minimums and certainly not leave any holes. So it sounds like the community fund would be where most of it would come from. And maybe we could take some of it out of the art fund, but no, you think the community fund?
I think that, so here's where my mind goes. We have had a lot of action on the art walk the last year. And so we have spent what we even budgeted for stipends because we've turned over so much. And yes, we're making money with the sales. It's kind of like two different pots of money that we spend to bring them in. And then I also get nervous because I am seeing a significant slowdown in commercial building permits, and that's what funds that. And so if the money in the art fee fund, the art walk fund dries up, then we're going to be we have to figure out if we're going to continue funding the art walk and how. So I would lean towards proposing the purchase out of the foundation, knowing that at the end of the year, when we close out, the money that you have made for commissions for the sculpture is going into the foundation. And so they're kind of serving the same purpose in my mind. So I would recommend it be an expense from the foundation. And I think that we can explain that rationale in the staff report to council, because I think that's something that they have been a little cautious of, and why we set the administrative policy about the fund balance for the Art Walk Fund is because of that. We had a lot of money come into that fund early on with projects and a little bit of new development, but it's definitely slowed considerably. So
I would also like to say that I didn't find Steve's suggestion of fundraising objectionable. It was, $25,000. What did we raise for chaos, Sam? And that was a certain circumstance, of course, but we could draw from out of town people as well as our own community in order to help replace the funds or even make a contribution if that made the council feel comfortable with us using the money now to fund the sculptures now and replace it with a fundraising mechanism, which might seem a little backwards, but given the time frame, it's kind of the same question that Bruce was asking us: is can you actually raise the funds? So it's kind of the same sort of situation. But I just wanted to mention that to you because I don't have any great objection with, what's another fundraising campaign?
yeah, it's a little difficult climate right now, I think, for fundraising, but I kind of feel like if you have the funds in the foundation, and that's part of what it's there for.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
But we can, add that in as kind of a potential idea.
So, so you're talking about the possibility of the first meeting in July. Is that before the fourth holiday? Is that the early part of that week, or is that after?
Hold on just a second. And I have to go back and look because it's the 6th, but I cannot remember. We may not be having a meeting that week, but we are having it on the 20th. So I have to confer with Michelle on that schedule change if that happened, or because it was something they were just.
And then.
Yeah, would you let us know, Sam? I actually I'm scheduled to be out of town on the 6th, which I wouldn't want to be. So maybe we should just say by the 20th, and then it won't matter. If the
We'll check that and let you know. So is there any motion or input on the funding piece?
How about what you said? How about that we take the money from the foundation? I make a motion that we pay for the sculptures with money from the foundation.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Roll call.
Sorry, trying to get there. That's weird. It won't do two options, so we'll have to go back. Commissioner Wordsworth,
Yes.
Commissioner Cant,
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick, Commissioner, that was yes, I can read.
Yes.
Commissioner Scher,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cook,
Yes.
and Chair McDonald.
Yes.
Okay. So next steps is I will work on the calendar, so I'll let you know tomorrow when that'll occur. And then I'll start working on the staff report. If I could share a draft of that with, Jim, obviously, and if there's someone else that wants to just take a look at it and represent this in the council meeting, that would be helpful too. I don't know, Rhonda,
Maybe
Are
I
do you want
to do that, or Kim.
Rhonda or Kim, I assume you're
Rhonda.
both going to be there. You're both going to be there though, right?
Depends on when it is, but yeah, it should be Rhonda, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll prepare that, and usually what I do is I kind of reiterate some of the discussion you had in the history, and then the plan and what we're proposing. So I'll share drafts of that with you guys to weigh in on, and then if you're, I'll make sure you get invited to the meeting so that you're able to answer questions.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you all.
Absolutely.
That's all I have. So we can move on.
Yeah, I have one question, and it's probably for the future, but when the idea of paying or not paying another stipend to Bruce came up at the last meeting, Steve Rogers said that maybe we should consider a policy on extensions of pieces, whether we pay half stipend or whatever. Is that necessary, or do we just try to remain flexible in our dealing with the sculptors on the art walk? And so I guess I'm kind of asking Kim and Rhonda first, what you feel about that.
I would say to leave it open, because this is the first time it's ever come up.
Okay.
Generally, artists don't want to come pick up their sculptures and are happy to leave it until we make them come get it. And sometimes they come quickly and sometimes they don't, but each situation to me is very different, but that's my opinion.
And I agree with you, Kim, from even talking to Lori Acott. She would have been happy to extend. The question of an additional stipend never came up, and I didn't bring it up, obviously. And then thankfully, in the meantime, the piece has sold, so it's a non-issue, yeah. Right. But she would have been, it's very individual with the artists. And I think with Bruce's pieces, it might have been the first time that we did come forward with that. That's just his condition. That's just his thought or our thought.
Also, not to set a precedent that we're always going to buy things that we love, although it's certainly makes sense to buy things you love. But I'm thinking that with COVID now finally on its way out, there'll be more fluidity in the art walk. We'll have more art available to us. I would imagine we'll be able to explore more possibilities now that Rhonda and Kim can get out and about more, and that artists can move around more. Everything has been such a challenge the last year, and not to invalidate anything we said about those two pieces, because they're absolutely stunning, but to suddenly feel that we have to keep everything, I don't think we want to have a knee-jerk reaction to that either, but that hope that fluidity will start to come back, where we're eager to be switching things out and have a lot more pieces available to us.
Although I'll say with building permits, not quite what they used to be. I'm not sure that we're, and if we have a lot of movement on the art walk and a lot of stipends, we're probably not going to be looking at purchases again for, I would think, quite a while.
From the very beginning of our discussions on the 1% building permit fee, everybody always felt that we wouldn't get anything from that either because the town was built out, and look where we are. So
You're absolutely right.
just saying.
Just saying.
And we know
Okay.
some,
Yeah.
renovations on the horizon, but those were on the horizon prior to COVID. So I'm assuming some of those properties will want to wait a while. So, but we hear rumblings. So.
Yes, I hear something
That's a
about
good
a
thing.
garden being built out. So
And
You
no
never know.
pressure, Rhonda. Keep up the good work.
Okay, so I guess
Okay.
through with Art Walk.
Yes.
The gallery should be really quick. We have Guy Buffet opening Thursday. I think Rhonda is going to, and possibly Noelle, although she's not on the gallery subcommittee, are going to talk about the opening. But let me jump ahead of Guy. We have Brad Holmes doing extreme sports in the fall. We're definitely, I think, Samantha, unless there's some health reason not to, we're definitely going to do a children's exhibit in December. And our exhibit with Sam Chapman in the first quarter now has a title, and that's Paintings from Monet's Garden. So, and you remember that you had a chance in the last meeting to vote on some of his flower paintings, which are huge canvases. So I'm excited about all that. Rhonda, do you want to start? Do you want to say anything about Guy, or do you want to talk about that during Art Sip and Stroll? Because it's kind of a linked event.
Yeah, I guess the big news for today is the gallery got hung, and so it'll be ready for Thursday.
Better than the artist getting hung.
Yeah, there are moments that it was close, not for me, but his pieces are beautiful, and I think it's all ready to go. And then the actual opening, Jim, did you want us to discuss that?
Yeah. Do you want to do it now? Yeah, go ahead.
But the opening isn't really part of Art Sip and Stroll.
Okay, so go for it. And since you've been working kind of partly with Noelle on that, if she wants to jump in, that's fine.
Noelle, do you want to take it?
We can't.
No.
She said no.
Unmute.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy. Just in terms of the gallery opening, Rhonda and I had a very busy weekend last weekend, as did Robin and Cindy joining us. We were tubing over 600 posters as Guy was signing them as quickly as he could. And it was amazing. We got that done in almost an hour and a half. I still don't know how that happened, but it did. And it was a lot of fun. We got a lot done that day. Rhonda and I have also, after that, I think we got so energized that between the two of us, we sent out over 100 personal invitations to people through email, through hand delivery. We just felt that would give them a little more buy-in if we expressed our personal interest for them to come, and we've gotten a lot of positive response from that. The marketing committee, we will be sending out additional email blasts and things corresponding to Guy's different showings, like for Pause in the Plaza. Cindy and Robin will be targeting places like Napa Humane and Jameson Ranch, and also the let's see, for Tour de Yountville, the cycling store and other cycling entities. And there's going to be a lot of continued emails going out to support all the different galleries. So we're very excited about that. The chamber has been wonderful. And just to throw in Art Sip and Stroll, they've been putting out really big blasts and ads on Art Sip and Stroll, but also they are now continuing to promote all the gallery events for Guy Buffet, all the monthly events in their newsletters. So we're really getting a push out there. And let's see. Then Rhonda has been do we save that for Art Sip and Stroll or for the gallery? Rhonda has also been on a tear with people like Paul Franson and the Napa Valley Register, and she's been getting lots and lots of wonderful press. I mean, the gallery show and Art Sip and Stroll are pretty much linked at the hip. So it's been like a snowball. It's been really wonderful, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, well, let me ask, I understand that there's a chance we may, for the first time at a gallery opening, get the majority of the town council. Is that possible?
I believe so. They've all been personally invited, and the mayor's been invited. He has responded. I believe Eric Knight has responded.
Yes,
Yeah, Carrie will be there.
Carrie.
Whitney will be there. And I believe Jessica and Lynn will also be there. I know for sure Whitney, the other two said they had it on their calendar. So sometimes I don't like to say that means for sure, but Whitney for sure, and the mayor and several of the council people. I tend to think Marita will be there, and I would
Yes, she
imagine
will.
Marjorie. Yeah.
Marita will be there.
So we'll have a nice turnout, which is why we can't wait for you to have some opening remarks, Jim. And
Yeah. So
and,
then I will have you guys come up, because you're the one movers and shakers on this. So you really, I shouldn't say that much, because it's all come about because of you two. But let me get to something really practical, and maybe more in Sam's bailiwick. You know, there's going to be a big crowd. People are going to have to wait in line. So there's going to be a kind of a crowd control, you know, letting 10 people on the gallery at once. And if Guy and Lydia are going to stay in the gallery, and you, then that means only 7 at a time. So that's going to be, I mean, I'm trying to remember, we don't have music there, right? I mean, is there any, do we need a juggler or a card trick person outside keeping people occupied?
Well, you know, I think people
wine.
are going to be, be so happy to be someplace together as a community. I think this is really the first time in large amounts people will feel safe and come out. So I think that should entertain everybody unto itself. Also, I know we've, Jim and Rhonda and I and Sam have had discussions about at what point should we have Guy come out of the gallery and mingle with all the guests, because at 10 at a time going in, and actually maybe 7 at a time going in, everybody didn't, although they'll be excited to come out and see each other, that's not why they came out. So we feel it's important to have Guy come outside of the gallery. Rhonda, excuse me, well, yes, Rhonda for sure can stay in the gallery, but also Lydia can. And if necessary, Guy can go in. But I think it's really important that he's out there at some point earlier on to be with everybody who's come to see him, because then they'll at least feel satisfied that they were able to, quote, meet and greet him.
You know,
Is COVID ruled that you can only go at 10 at a time?
Yes.
We're still under capacity limits for the orange tier. We're still in the orange tier, and it's not June 15th. So
June 15th, it would be different, Marty, but it's not June 15th. 50%
capacity. We could probably technically go to 15. I mean, space-wise, the lobby isn't permitted through the fire department with a capacity limit, but we could probably go to 15. But similar to before, we will kind of have the line queue, but we'll also have wine on the plaza. We could play some, you know, background music kind of thing, have people, you know, that feel like they can mill around out there. Maybe they come through once and, you know, hang out outside and talk to people and come back through or something. So we just have to kind of be prepared for that. And I think most people still understand that that's the case.
You know, I kind of missed it, and Rhonda kind of did the first writing of that went out. I mean, normally our gallery openings are at 5:30, but I guess this gallery event, and maybe it should be because it's going to have more people, is 5 to 7. So usually, you know, usually I introduce the artist in the gallery, at a 5:30 opening around 6 o'clock. Try to do it before people kind of wander off. So maybe around, if it starts at 5, maybe around 5:30, we need to get Guy out.
Well, I'm just going to say, I think that might be a little bit early. Again, Jim, like we talked, and Noel, and the three of us, it's going to be a play it by ear.
Right.
But I think we're going to be getting our mojo together when this thing starts,
Right.
especially Guy and Lydia.
Right.
So somewhere, 5:45 or something like that. We'll
Somewhere in that
play it
period.
by ear. Yeah. But I think
Sam's you're gonna have a microphone out front, out on the side, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I was asking if you wanted it right out here like we did last time, or on the plaza makes more sense, where more people can stand around.
Maybe out on the
comfortably.
plaza, I'm thinking, for more space for people to gather.
I'm easy either way. I think what I would like to say is I think we need to be mindful of Guy being put back in the gallery after this introduction, and let him mingle for a while. But I think ultimately he's going to need to go back in the gallery. So we just, he'll have Noel, me, and Lydia handling him. So we'll just have to figure out that.
So when he comes to the microphone, I'm assuming that if I do a very brief introduction, that I'm going to hand the baton, that you are going to be outside as well, and you and Noel are going to come up to the microphone and say whatever you want to say. And then that at that point only Lydia would be in the gallery. Am I wrong?
I assume.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, Noel?
Yep.
Okay.
And but if Noel, I'm going to leave it to you to make some remarks at this, please. I'll be with you, but and then Guy after us. Is that what you're thinking, Jim?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Then you'll come back and you'll introduce him. And I talked to them today about it. Lydia's fine with it. She said he can be extemporaneous and he can be, it'll work. He asked me what I thought. I told him, thank you, Yountville. And so, glad to be here and thank you, whatever. And he said, yeah, it's no problem. So, we need to limit his time, I'm sure, but we need to limit the time on all of this. So we just have to roll with it. We've certainly explored all of the options. So I feel like we're prepared. And also I will say, we are expecting, based on the emails and invitations that Noel and I have sent out, a good turnout, but I've also had gallery experience where you just think you're going to be overwhelmed and nobody shows up. So I'm not saying that nobody is going to show up, but you don't know until you get there. So we're going to be prepared for all of the options.
I just want to say we also reached out to lots and lots of our friends and neighbors here in town. We are really hoping to get the town to come out. It's very important to us to have that show of support and to just really have them a part of this event, because it's really important. And we've really been positioning it as the kickoff to Art Sip and Stroll. So we've been getting a lot of positive response from a lot of the residents too. So.
Yep.
Okay, so we can continue some of this when we get to Art Sip and Stroll. I'm going to jump into literary, and I'll just say that we now have a date for Yountville Out Loud, and that's Thursday, September 9th. And that covers literary. Marketing and PR, that's you, Noel. So I did get a text from Cindy about what you said, targeting for the Guy events, animal groups, cycling, and culinary groups. And so did you or Robin's on your committee, right?
Yeah,
you want to say any more about marketing?
Just a little bit more. Most of it fell into the gallery because that's a lot of the work that we as the marketing committee have been doing. And much as I've been getting involved with gallery, Rhonda's been getting involved with marketing. We've been having a lot of crossover, which has all been absolutely wonderful. And on the day of the event, Tim and I will be filming and photographing. So next year we can get some new footage into our Art Sip and Stroll video. And so we'll have some more assets. I know a lot of people will be taking photos, but we also will. So between all of us, I'm sure we'll have some really nice new photo assets for our Google Drive when we need to call upon things. I think that does pretty much cover it.
Okay.
I wanted to
Robin?
for both Art Sip and Stroll as well as the event on the 10th. If we have one person that's assigned with posting on Nextdoor and sharing our excitement, and then everybody liking it and kind of weighing in to create its energy there.
Posting what on Nextdoor?
The events, and just, hey, you all come down, there's a great event taking place, and kind of talking up Guy's opening, outdoor Parisian music in the courtyard, and then social distancing in the gallery, just to making it more accessible.
Okay.
Sounds nice.
I mean, I've in the past done literary and gallery messages on Nextdoor a day or two before the events. I mean, do you all, Noelle or Robin, do you want to embark on a little bit of local messaging or no?
No, I'm going to have to pass on that one because Robin, if you're familiar with it, I welcome you to do that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to for these two.
Great. I think
But
it sounds
I'll
great.
with you, Rhonda, and Noelle, to make sure I have all of the details and descriptions perfect.
Right, and we can give you material because it's all written out. So everybody's really been lifting from a lot of the collateral material that's been created. So that'll be great.
Yeah, good. Okay, happy to.
Thank you. That would be awesome.
That's great. Okay, so moving right along, we've got the Art Sip and Stroll update. Part of that's Samantha, I think, partly on logistics, and then Rhonda or Noelle maybe have something to add. So you want to tell us how things are shaking out right now?
Sure. Things are going well. It's very busy. We unfortunately lost 2 artists between last week and this week due to family emergencies. So working on that. But otherwise, everyone is confirmed and has received all their information, wineries, artists, and all of our musicians. So I anticipate everything to go smoothly. They'll start putting the large tasting tent up in Veterans Park on Wednesday. And then you'll kind of continue to see that work go through Friday evening when they'll do the parking drive here between the post office and the community center. So lots going on. And yeah, just the pavilions and the tasting packages and the appointments has been a big lift. So I look forward to never having to do this again. It's basically like handling 600 restaurant reservations in a 5-hour period. So
I'm sure.
it's pretty intense, and most people are very gracious, but there are some that are challenging, and I think that might continue to the day of. So we just try to remind people this is not a wine event, this is an art event. And so the wine piece is just, a great thing that is able to be offered and support the event. But yeah, it's just interesting.
I think when they see what you've done with these pavilions, that is going to get moved. Seriously.
Yeah.
You're going to look great. It's going to be nice for them to sit down. Maybe conceptually it's not what they're thinking, but
yeah,
I've really warmed up to it. I think if they walk in and they see, and I'm thinking Generations Room, they see a beautiful setting and they can sit and relax. They've been looking at art for a while, and I think it's
That's
gonna,
what I think too. So hopefully that's what happens. And I
hopefully.
probably
There will just
because
be a whole lot of people who will expect to be able to purchase it day of and won't understand that we're sold out, I'm sure.
And that
So we've
always
been
happens.
That will be the
pushing that
challenge, yeah.
sold out. So in the signage I made to direct people towards the tasting pavilion check-in says, sold out, sorry. So people hopefully wandering around will understand that. But
So
yeah.
do we get a ticket or something, Sam? I mean, I bought a couple tasting tickets just to have available. Will there be something else that we walk in with, or we just give our names, or?
Yeah, no, you just give your names. We have it, every time slot has its guest list, and you check in with your name, and you'll get your tasting cup and tokens and your signed Guy Buffet poster. And then as soon as we open it, it's a quick 10-minute turnaround where we're, wiping down every table and, throwing away any trash people have left behind, and then we welcome the guests in. So.
Wow.
So hopefully it goes smoothly. I'm probably way overthinking it, but that's what I tend to do. And but I think it's gonna be what it is.
I think
We're all
it'll be
we're,
great. I think,
we're all part of the
what my
overthinking
biggest
team.
fear is, Sam, I'm afraid that people are gonna get so involved in the art, they're gonna forget about their tasting.
No,
Yes. So
Doesn't
we had
matter,
one.
we have the money.
Yeah, we have one overflow time slot for people who are frustrated or, for whatever reason, or, we're just happy to, if they really want a refund, we'll just give them their money back. But I just don't want to lose sight of, it's not everybody, it's a handful, and I think there are so many other people just looking forward to coming here for this and don't care anything about that piece of it. And the artists are just so really just all very excited and gracious. So if I only had to do that part of it, it would be smooth sailing because I got that with science. But
So Sam, am I correct in understanding, is it 4 to 5? That's the overflow time slot. So then if there is any considerations that need to be made for token buyers, that would be a potential remedy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to just keep it to the community center only because we have a short break time at the Veterans Park. But yeah, so if people come up and they're frustrated or they couldn't, get there for whatever reason, then we can offer them the overflow time slot. And then if that's not an option either, then we'll go from there. So
Sam, just know you can move me.
It's okay. You're fine.
I don't want to cause confusion, but you wouldn't hurt my feelings if you needed to. It's not.
Oh yeah. No, we're going to be prepared at the community center. It's just I have a very tight space to work within at Veterans Park, so that's the one where I can't really go over in numbers at all. So yeah. Otherwise, I feel like logistically, it's just a lot of small kind of to-do things and getting ready for the gallery opening and then the art sip and stroll event. And then we have music in the park on Sunday. I'm not sure who scheduled these things, but
no.
Oh.
And then we have on
Saturday.
Yeah.
We have
not
Plaza.
Thank
And
goodness.
then we have balls on the plaza. It's just fun. But I have a lot of good people helping with all these things that you will see around. So thank you for all of you are volunteering in whatever capacity this weekend. We really appreciate it. So we have a lot of other volunteers too. So as you're taking your opportunity.
Do you feel you're covered?
We can always use a one or two here or there. So if you know people who haven't reached out, I'm happy to plug them in somewhere. But I did send out the volunteer schedule to everyone. Hopefully you received that, and I'll probably just send one more reminder email to check in with everybody. But I think it's going to be a very, very busy day in town. So
yes,
don't try to drive your car anywhere really, unless you leave very early.
Well, thank you, Sam, for all that you've put into pulling this together. It's going to be an amazing event. Each year is better than the past. So, and that's attributed to your work.
Okay, so Is that it?
The only other thing, Jim, is pointing out all the hard work of the marketing committee and Sam. More ads. If anybody takes the Paul Franson Napa Life, did you guys all see that?
Mhm.
He ran down through all of our events, and he plugged the Bar Sip and Stroll, and he beyond my expectation. And there's another story behind that, but nonetheless, between Samantha putting it out there, Jim writing the press, Noel and the chamber, I mean, I don't know what else we could do. I think
It's a village, right?
it's a village, totally.
Takes the city of Manhattan. Rhonda, do you want to talk a little? Do we need some assistance with bags for Paws in the Plaza?
Yes.
Do you want to just bring that up? Rhonda has been busy ordering. We have paw prints that are going to go in the plaza.
Too cute. It's just all the cute stuff.
We have plastic goodie bags with paw prints on them, and tablecloths, and ribbon.
And ribbon and water
ribbon.
bowls and wine. And yeah.
So you're going to need at some point some help in filling these bags, right?
Jude, since you volunteered, Jim.
I did volunteer.
We had lots of fun, I have to say. It was really great seeing each other in person.
Yeah. So that'll be coming up quickly on the heels of Art Sip and Stroll and Music in the Park.
Let us know when you want a gathering of bag filling.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
So that it? So no other commissioner, let's see, no other staff reports. Sam, I think you've reported more than enough.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else right now. Thank you.
And I always allow Rhonda, if she wants, to make a very short comment about one of her other little volunteer efforts.
The Napa Valley Museum is planning to open on the 18th, Friday the 18th. And we hope everybody will come out. And if you haven't renewed your membership, it would be a good time to do that. Lucy Lou is still there, but it will be leaving shortly. And Laura has quite a roster of events coming. So to get all the details, just go on the website and you'll see we have Jeff Bridges back in the mix, which had been tentative. Well, he was secured and then the COVID, and then he has lymphoma and all these silly things that were getting in the way. But now that's back on the calendar. So we look forward to, we all really, and I hope the community agrees, look forward to opening the museum. And at this point, that's the plan. We hope there won't be any obstacles to that. That's it, Jim.
Okay, thank you. So if there's nothing else, I will adjourn this meeting. So thank you. A lot going on. A lot went on tonight. Kim?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
No, I was just